Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to another day of wonderful algebraic arithmetic equations with myself, Miss Thompson, and you yourself, awesome student. So we're going to do our math warm-up, and it's going to be with time lapse again, so when changing of time. So hopefully you're starting to get the hang of this and being able to round the minutes or hours to something that's more comfortable for you, like more of a landmark number, and then being able to add or subtract the difference. Okay, so let's get into what we've got today. If it takes Sky Rose I know her. If it takes Sky Rose 23 minutes to walk to Medina's house and she leaves at 8:15 a.m., what time will Sky Rose arrive? Okay, so we know what time she starts. We know how many minutes it takes her. So we're going to be adding on from our start time of 8:15. Pause the video and press play when you've solved, okay? All right, welcome back. Now, I'm going to write it down, but hopefully you were able to do some of this in your head, okay? So remember, Sky Rose left at 8:15, and it was 23 minutes. So maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh, I can just add 15 plus 23. You absolutely can. And if you add 15 plus 23, you will get 38. So she does arrive at 8:38 a.m. But if you want to use a different strategy than adding those two numbers together, you could do my strategy. Well, the one that I use myself is I just think, okay, 23 minutes plus 8:15. Well, then I'm just going to add 30 because I know with time it goes 15, 30, 45 hour, right? It goes in 15-minute increments. So if I just add 30, I round up to 30, then I know I'm going to be at 8:45. Now I know I've added on 7 minutes, so now I'm going to subtract back 7 minutes, okay? I'm going to adjust my difference. So when I take 45, take away 7, I know that brings me to 8:38. So that's a couple ways to do it, boys and girls. You can either round the minutes to a half hour and then subtract the difference, or you can just add the minutes together and see what your total is. But either way, the answer is 8:38 a.m. That is when Sweet Medina and Sky Rose were united and playing together. Okay, now we're going to get into our learning for today. We are today going to be looking at, we're going to be, instead of just making the charts for the single towers, double towers, corner towers, square towers, you are going to be able to jump, like what would it already be on the 10th floor or the 20th floor. So you're really going to be using the equations that the rule, the expression, the equation. It all means the same thing. What that basically means is, saying W equals, so like total windows equal, floor, so F times however many side windows plus a skylight. But the rule, the equation, the expression, those are synonyms, which mean they all mean the same thing. So when you see that, just know they all mean the same thing. Okay, so we're going to get into it now. Okay, mathematicians, we're going to practice completing a chart for single tower together right now, okay, to just do a little bit of review. Okay, so can you please take out your cubes and create a single tower, okay? Can you do a single tower right now with just one floor? So that's just one cube, okay? So when we have a chart like this, when we have a chart like this and we know that we have one floor, we have to think about how many, what's the math going to be to figure out the total number of windows. So for me, I think about it, okay, I've got one skylight, right? There's one window on top, and then there's 4 side windows around the side. So it's 1 plus 4. And the total windows I get are 5, okay? So when we do it for the snout, make your tower a double, make your single tower 2 floors, okay? So there's 2 cubes, right? So again, how many skylights do we have? 1, that's right. So it's still going to be 1. Well, there's a bunch of different ways actually you can find the second floor. So I'm curious how you've done it, okay? So I can see that some people did repeated addition, right? So you had the 1 skylight plus a 4, so you had that from round 1, from floor 1, and then you added another 4, right? Because that was like another 4 side windows to that, to have it be a second story high, okay? So maybe you added 1 plus 4 plus 4. That would give you 9. Maybe you use some multiplication. Okay, so where can we use multiplication? Okay, I see 2 4s here. So maybe you did 1 plus, and then you multiplied. We're on the second floor, and there's 4 side windows, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4 side windows every time, okay? And maybe some of you did, oh, I know, I can just take my last answer and just add 4 because I already know what it is for one floor, and then I just add 4 more side windows because that's how many side windows are added for each new floor, right? So maybe you took floor 1's answer of 5 and you just added 4 more and you got 9. Any of these options work. Any of them work, okay? Now, for number 3, it could be the same thing. So maybe you did repeated addition again. Now another 4, because it's another, so make your cubes 3 stories high now, 3 floors high. And you'll see the 1, 2, 3. So how many skylights do you have, right? It's always 1 because there's only 1 on top. And that never changes for a single tower, okay? And then with each new floor, you're adding 4 more side windows each time. So what would the multiplication equation be right here? Okay, think about it in your head. Okay, so that's right. So it'd be 1 plus, because you have the 1 skylight, but now it's 3 floors. So you're doing 3 of those sets of 4 side windows. Or maybe you just took floor 2's total windows and you added 4 more because you know with each additional floor, you will have 4 more windows. So maybe you just took 9 and just added 4. But either way, I hope you got to the answer 13. So if you want to be looking back at your work, you can be looking back at page 529 because this is where we did that work, okay? This is where we did it. So if we were to go down to the 4th floor, 4 stories high, you might be starting to see a pattern. It could be 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Or 1 plus 4 times 4 because it's 4 stories and there's 4 side windows every time. Or this plus 4. But either way, you should be getting 17 for the 4th floor. Okay, so I want you to notice, like looking at the total windows, do you notice something that all of those answers have in common? Like could there be like an understanding that when you're doing a single tower, there's always or there's never. Could you create some kind of rule, but not the expression type of rule, but like some kind of understanding agreement that a single tower always has? So when I'm looking here, I'm noticing something all of these numbers have in common. Something they all have the same. Okay, so if you know it, if you have an idea, I want you just to whisper it to yourself because this is the part where we'd be talking to our partners. So it's really important to like say your ideas out loud. So just whisper it to yourself, okay? Okay, so if you said, I noticed, Miss Thompson, that on every floor, the total, they're odd numbers. It's always an odd number. Then I would tell you, yes, you are correct. So if I said to you, hey, could a single tower ever have 20 windows? Could it ever have 20 windows? You would say, no, Miss Thompson, I already know that because I don't even have to do the math because it's always an odd number. And 20 is an even number, right? Because you can split it to 2 equal groups. So you would be able to say right away, like 20 would be an impossible number of windows. I could say that for 1,000. Is 1,000 possible? You could say, no, Miss Thompson, because 1,000 is also an even number. It ends in 0. So I already know that could never happen for a single tower. So I want you just to start to notice patterns, okay? Noticing patterns. All right. So now when you look at the double tower, flip your page to page 530, look at your tower. Do you notice anything that they have in common? Like all those answers. Okay, so notice. I'm going to be looking back at my book right now too. Where did it go? I'm going to look back at my answers. Yep. And as I look, notice when you're looking at your answers for page 530 for floors 1 through 10, do you notice something that they all have in common? Are they all odd? Well, they're ending in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like 0, right? So I know odd numbers don't end in that. Even numbers do. So now we're noticing with a double tower, the answer is always even. So these are some kind of rules that can help you check your answers or just sort of know if something is possible or not. Okay, so I want you to be noticing the pattern. So for a single tower, it's always an odd answer, and for a double tower, it's always even. Now, why do you think it would always be odd for a single tower? What is it that's making it odd every time? Because you're adding 4 each round, and 4 is an even number. So look at it. What is it that's making it odd every time? Look at your chart. Do you see the number that's doing it to it every time? That's right, the skylight. There's only one skylight. So if you always have an even answer, but you keep adding 1, you're always going to keep changing it to an odd answer. It's always going to be odd. Okay, so mathematicians, right now we're going to look at some rules, so some equations and some general understandings for all 4 types of towers: the single, the double, the square, the corner. And I want you to build it every time, because it's easy to get confused and keep all this math in our heads. So I want you to have a model, like a picture of it in front of you. So create a single tower, create a double tower going up, create a corner tower, create the square tower going up as much as you can, even if it's just 2 stories, because 2 floors, because it's going to help you think about, does my math make sense? Okay, so then I want you to open up to page 547, and we're going to do pages 547 and 548 today. Gracie, when you started your modeling career for math lessons, did you think it would take place like this? Did you know you would feel so sleepy and want to take... Oh, baby. Yeah. You want to take those late morning naps in the sun and then cuddle up next to Mama? Oh. Math makes her sleepy. Sometimes it makes her tail wag. Today it makes her sleepy. All right, not for us though. Off we go. Mathematicians, I told you we're working on page 547 and 548. This is going to be about single towers, double towers, corner, square. So what's going to really help you for these 2 pages is to go back to our previous work. So when I go back to page, so for these 2 pages, I want you to write down page 529 to, oh, I didn't show you that, to 530. That's where that math is, okay? And then I believe, that's right, it's 5, and on this side, to help you, is going to be page 537 and 538. Those are the pages you can look back to have that visual to help you remember what the rules are for these, okay? So when I look at a single tower, and I'm going to build it for each one, okay? So remember, my single tower is just the cubes. Because I don't have the cubes at home. But you do. You don't have to draw them. I'm just doing that. Okay. Wow, Miss Thompson, what a good picture. Okay, so how would you find the number of windows if there are 20 floors? So just out of nowhere, like, I'm not quite sure. But what I can do is I can go back to my work on page 529, like I just recommended to you. And I have my equation right here. Remember that? Because I remember there were 4 side windows every time, and there's 1 top window. So every floor has 1, 2, 3, 4 side windows wrapping around, and then 1 skylight on top. So I'm going to use this expression to help me. So it said for, so I'm going to flip back. There we go. For 20 floors. So I'm actually going to write the rule right here so I don't forget it. So it's going to be 1, because there's 1 skylight, plus 4 side windows times, I'm going to put F for the floors. And over here, I'm going to write it for 20 floors. So for 20 floors, I'm going to go 1 plus 4 times, and it's 20 floors. So I'm going to replace the F with 20. Then I'm going to get my answer. So I always do what's in parentheses first. 4 times 20. That's 80 plus 1, so it'll be 81 windows. Okay, because I know this is 80. And then I'm going to do it for 30, so I'll put a 30 in there, and then for 45. Now, if you're like, okay, I know that's 10 more floors, so it's going to be like 4 times 10, just 10 more floors, and that's 40. I can take this answer and go, okay, 81 plus 40, because if it's 10 more floors with 4 side windows, that's 40, and my answer will be 121 windows. Like, that's one way to find it. If you wanted to just rewrite the equation and do 1 plus 4 times 30, that would also work. Just remember, if you're gonna take the answer from 529, but you accidentally, you might accidentally multiply the skylight too many times. So remember, you can't just take this number and go, okay, I'm going to double it, because then you're doubling your start with, or you're doubling, in this case, your skylight. So you have to be very mindful of that, okay? But I want you to look back on these pages for support. It helps you do it here. Then you're going to do it for a double tower. So you can go back, like I just did. That's a square tower. And I went too far. My double tower is right here. And I remember I wrote my equation right here, because there's 2 skylights and there's 6 side windows every time, because it's 1, 2, 3, and then there's the 3 I can't see in my picture, but I want you to make it in front of you, okay? So there's 6 side windows every time, and then there's 2 skylights. So I can go over here and write my rule. So it's 2 plus, how many side windows was it? I think it was 6. 6 times F equals W. And then I could use that to help me. Now, you can use your part of your previous answer to get your next answer, or you can do the equation again. Like, do what works for you, but you need to, but be mindful. Double tower, and then it goes corner, square. Okay, so remember the corner one, maybe draw the picture so you don't make a mistake. It looks like this from above. Remember this one? It's got 3 on top, and this one's got 4 on top. Okay, those are the skylights. So you are going to complete both of these pages. I want you to go back to the previous pages to help you solve it and find these answers, okay? If you accidentally write your answers for corner tower down here, square tower up there, I am going to ask you to go back and fix everything, because I'm slowing down right now to really bring your attention. I'm even using pictures to bring your attention to what is the problem asking you to do. Some of you are not answering questions carefully. You're not reading the directions. So let's just get it right the first time and follow directions. Remember, on this page, you can look back at 529 and 530 for help, because that's the single and the double tower work you did. And you can look back on 537 and 538 for help, because that's when you worked on the corner and square towers, okay? Okay, mathematicians, now it's your turn to do that work, okay? So what I want to remind you is that you have all the tools you need to do this work correctly and to be careful and check your math. The one thing I'm going to discourage, which means I'm not going to want you to do, is doing repeated addition for those really big numbers, like 45 floors or 30 floors. I don't want you to be adding 4 30 times or adding it 45 times. I want you to use the multiplication I've taught you, okay? And Ms. Karad has taught you, and use the strategies we've taught you. Because part of getting older and knowing how to do multiplication and using these strategies is being able to do it faster and with less work, you know, so it gets easier for you. That's what the more grown-up thing to do is, and that's what we've taught you in 4th grade. So we really want to see that 4th grade math when you're doing those higher numbers, okay? So like I said, if you have any questions, always email your teacher, me or Ms. Karad, and we are here to help you, okay? Have a great day.